Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State Joel Rubin, along with former senior advisor to DHS under Alejandro Mayorkas, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel and Maryland Congressional candidate Berney Flowers, and back with us on set, former New York Nan Hayworth. Great to have you all here. Berney, I'm going to start with you here. I know you worked for a very different administration with a very different philosophy when it came to ICE arrests and the border. What do you make of what is happening now and just how bad this has gotten for ICE agents?
First of all, Katrina and John, thanks for having me. I always enjoy being here with you guys. And, how has it gotten so bad? 8,000%? That's ridiculous. And this is clearly coordinated by these globalist elites who opened up our borders. We have to stand strong. We have to stand strong behind our government, our president, and especially those ICE agents that are out there on the front line. They're doing a wonderful job for us, but this is coordinated globally, and I would like to see some arrests at the global level, like George Soros.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing these arrests here, and clearly they're playing out here at the Home Depots. They've been targeted here, but the company now having to put that statement out, very interesting. I want to get to this, though. The ICE announcing the arrest of some of the worst criminals here across the country. They say that this was all in time for Halloween. DHS sharing these pictures here with NEWSMAX first. Among these men taken into custody yesterday across the U.S., the suspects are accused of heinous crimes, including sexual abuse of a child, indecent assault, and battery on a child, and patronizing a child prostitute. DHS saying that Halloween is now a little less scary with these monsters off the streets. Congresswoman, your take on this? ICE still going after these criminals, and despite the pushback that they're seeing from the left?
Well, this is law enforcement, and as our friends on the left are always prone to tell us, no one is above the law. Well, certainly these criminals are not above the law. Home Depot is not the source of these apprehensions, nor is it the source of our troubles. It is, in fact, the antecedent administration, which allowed so many people to enter our country illegally, and sadly, thousands upon thousands were, in fact, dangerous criminals. And here's the other thing about the vehemence of the protests and the alien nature of them, if you will, because they are funded by a network that's pretty much a RICO case, and I'm glad that that's beginning to be investigated. But these companies are not making this happen. They are merely caught up in the problem itself. Mm-hmm. And most Americans are supporting these actions, and that's very important. So they're not going to make enemies of these companies, nor of ICE, among the broader American public.
Right, you're just hearing a lot of people who are against it, and they just happen to be yelling the loudest, I think. Joel, my question to you is how it's so, I'm going to say, frustrating, disturbing, confusing, whatever, insert the word there, that these progressive groups who are fighting against ICE are actually taking people who are here illegally and turning them into these victims and saying that they're being attacked and abused, and the favorite word of the progressive, they're being disappeared. And they're creating this narrative that is completely false, but a lot of other Americans, they believe them.
Yeah, Katrina, look, I think that what we're facing right now is a crisis in confidence in ICE's operations. To your question about the groups protesting, there is a real fear that Americans are getting swept up, that there's no clarity about who is doing the arresting, where are the people being taken, and you're seeing a panic occur as a result. I hope that there will be more transparency. There should be more clarity about what the rules of the road are. Many of the people being arrested are not criminals in the violent sense. They're not violating laws. If they were, they should be arrested, but they're not violating the laws we think of when we think of dangerous and violent. They're just here in an undocumented manner. And that needs to be clear to the American people. And that's why we're seeing a response right now. That's why people are going to Home Depot. And I have to say, I think it's horrible that ICE officers are being doxxed and attacked. That should not happen. I also think it's a little outlandish to believe that there's some puppet master behind all of this. That's not the case either. These are Americans who are very concerned about seeing people disappearing, being arrested, and not clear as to why and where they're being taken.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Nan, I saw you shaking your head a
Yeah.
little bit, and I think my guess is you wanted to comment on the criminality component.
Very quickly, with all due respect, it is a criminal act, and in fact, it is a felony to enter the United States against our laws. That is in federal statute. So anyone who is apprehended by ICE, even if they have committed no further crimes, are still criminals, unfortunately for them, in the eyes of the law.
Berney, I want to get your take on this. I just looked this up. I wanted to see if the Home Depot owner was Republican, and he is. Berney Marcus. He's the co-founder of Home Depot. Did I say? How do you pronounce that?
He's the late.
He's the late.
Mr. Marcus.
Berney
He
Marcus.
died.
Did you think politics have anything to do with this? Because there was some donations to Trump's 2016 campaign on behalf of Home Depot owner.
Politics involves everything. This country is divided right now. It's unfortunate. But, the bottom line is, again, I still see this as a coordinated effort by globalists on the outside of this country to degrade and deny our liberty. Yeah. So the issue of the day is that, this owner of Home Depot, it's unfortunate that he's got himself involved in this. I don't really think he had a lot to do with this. I think this is just something coordinated from the outside.
Yeah, and also just a reminder, though, that the original, the co-founder who John mentioned has passed away, Mr. Bernard Marcus. So, again, but it's still, the organization definitely symbolizes a lot of his philosophy. All right.
All right, we got to leave it there. Joel.